Flydigi has been making some of the best controllers in the game, and the Apex 5 is the highest end controller that they make, which makes me exceptionally excited to unbox this buddy boy, especially because it has a feature that not many other controllers have, and that is adaptive triggers. You might already know them from the PlayStation 5. The resistance changes to simulate pulling the trigger on a gun or the gas pedal in a car, and it adds to the immersion in a way that I actually do really appreciate it when it's properly implemented. But a cool feature does not make a good controller. Let's take a closer look at this buddy boy. We have our controller, we have an instruction manual quick start guide, as well as a SIM card removal tool, which as of yet, its purpose is not yet unveiled, as well as some decorative things to replace the branded Flydigi ones in there. That's kind of a nice little bonus. Next, we have our dongle, and then our back paddles. They're a plastic that doesn't feel super durable, but they're sufficiently rigid. And then a very nice braided 6-foot cable, type A to C. Seems like one that I would actually keep around because it is pretty decent quality. What isn't great quality is this packing experience. I feel like for a premium controller, I'd expect a little bit more thought to go in here, but maybe this helps keep the price lower than it should be. Not the end of the world. The little plastic baggies just don't really make me excited. What does excite me is the really neat futuristic aesthetic of the Apex 5. This version is a transparent white. It has the removable front plate, which you could presumably swap out, although I haven't seen the replacement parts, as well as these transparent triggers, which I think give the whole controller a very fun aesthetic that kind of stands out from a lot of other controllers. In terms of ergonomics, hey, it's an Xbox controller. That's fine. That's, you know, the agreed upon superior shape of everything with the asymmetrical sticks. The things I don't like are the rubber backing. It feels fine now, but this is going to turn to oil in a few years, and that's just not ideal. The big difference versus the Vader 5 is instead of a ratcheting circle around the sticks, we have this removable tool and this mechanism over here to adjust the tension. What I don't like about this is that it's not super obvious just by looking at it what tension I'm setting it to. I'm gonna go all the way to Heavy Town, get that extra feeling of weight on the sticks. Makes it feel more premium, just like the really heavy weight adds to sort of that premium feel of this controller. The weight, which comes in at 334 grams without the back paddles, 336 with them. I personally feel like I am fine with heavy controllers. It's not like a mouse where I'm moving it around all the time. You know, having it be 200 versus 300 grams, not a big deal. And it really does add to that, like, oh, this is a luxury product that you're holding, just like the heavier sticks do. Another premium feature is the micro-mechanical switches that have a clicky feel on the face buttons. That's a love it or hate it thing. I've grown to love it. The menu buttons also feel very nice and clicky. Very similar to the Vader. I would say all of these face buttons feel very, very similar. At the maximum tension, they feel the same. On paper, they are the same. In fact, we're gonna have to use it to really find the differences that aren't really obvious, like the two missing face buttons over here. Other than that, we have the extra 2 bumpers on the top, as well as our bumpers and our triggers. We'll test those out shortly. We have our back buttons, our back paddles. Let's see how those feel. They're pretty okay. They're a little too flexible. It's not a big deal. I don't think in the heat of the moment I'm really gonna worry too much about it, but in this moment of evaluation, it doesn't feel the best. On the back, we also have our charging pins for our optional dock that we do have. Vader 5, tri-mode switch. We have our dongle, our Bluetooth, and our Nintendo Switch mode. And on this buddy boy, we have our on-off switch, without an obvious way to switch between the same functionality that the Vader has. This is compatible with the Switch, but not the PlayStation or the Xbox without an extra third-party adapter. But I'm curious to find out how I actually do that.
So press and hold the Flydigi button, and then use the D-pad to scroll across the top screen and select Connect Mode, and then you can choose your mode from there.
That's how I feel too.
I think having a physical toggle is a far superior solution. Just like having product tie-ins to specific animes might be superior for you. We have one of the alternate colorways of the Apex 5, which is the Evangelion one. This not only comes with the controller, but it comes with the dock, as well as this keychain Oh, I don't like that this is like a silicone thingy-maboober. I've never watched Evangelion. Should I watch it? Let me know in the comments below. I do like bold colorways, so let's see how this does. Oh, it also comes with a case, which is pretty nice. Oh, yeah, that shit rocks. Ooh, yeah, that's red, yellow, kind of gold aesthetic. I don't know if I love the two-tone gold and then cheap gold. That's fine. And I also don't know if I like this character on the side. I think I would just like the colors. It looks really good in red. Transparent red is an underrated color.
Agreed.
But this one will come at a premium even over the high cost of the other one. But you will get alternative D-pads, which is nice, and a different stick, kind of a more traditional PlayStation rounded off edge. Same cable, black dongle this time, and then what looks like the top of like the hull with a magnet. Kind of looks like they're bumpers, but it's not. They're not magnetic. I have no idea what these are for. Let me know in the comments below. This is really cool, but seeing as it's not even available from Flydigi directly, I have a feeling you'll be paying scalper prices for this. So let's put this away, forget it exists, and test out our other buddy after we tell you about our sponsor. Online scams and fraud continue to increase year over year. The global state of scams even reports over $1 trillion in losses due to scams. And this is in part because AI has reached the point where it can mimic images and audio of trusted individuals with alarming realism. Bitdefender helps you stay ahead of the game with their new Scam Radar feature. You get real-time updates and alerts about ongoing scams happening in your area. Because Bitdefender knows the amount of time, money, and effort you save by being proactive. Discover Bitdefender's powerful scam protection free for 90 days using our link below. We've plugged in our dongle to our optional dock into our controller. We could plug the dongle directly in, but it is pretty cool. We went a little bit deeper on the unboxing for the Vader 5, so I won't do that again, but let's see how easy just connecting will be. Because this is a common complaint I've had and I've seen other people have, is the Flydigi software getting up and running is actually kind of a pain in the booty. I think I need to be wired, apparently, to control it. Wow, that was a tight USB slot. Okay, here we go. So it looks like I have to go wired. That's fine. We're gonna update the firmware. How you guys doing? Once we're into the space station software, we have all the usual things. We have our profiles. We have our RGB modes. That is going off. We have our light intensity. We have our vibration intensity. I remember it being very strong in the beta, so I'm gonna leave it at default. Next, we can reassign any of our buttons to anything we want. That's very useful for the back paddles, where you can assign it very specifically to being the left stick click or right stick click. That's fine. Next, we have our joystick. We can change the circularity algorithm from rectangle to circle. We can change the sensitivity curve, as well as the active range, which is like a dead zone kind of thing. Individually or on both sticks at the same time. We have our gyro. We have 6-axis gyro in this flubbo. So when you connect it to your Switch, it'll work. You can also assign your stick look to it. It's pretty jittery. It's there, but it's not like the top tier gyro that you're gonna want. And then we have our triggers. This is where we get interesting. We have 5 presets: racing, recoil, sniper, trigger lock, and vibration that you can activate to play games that don't have adaptive trigger support. So you can kind of simulate what it would be like to have adaptive triggers and get some functionality in the hundreds of thousands of games that aren't compatible. There's racing, which sort of just increases the resistance. There's recoil, which sort of just increases the resistance. There's sniper. That's one thing to note. There is no hair trigger option on these. It's just through the software. And then we have vibration, which is gonna be emulating the impulse triggers of the Xbox that have little vibration motors just for the triggers. We're gonna leave it on general because there are games that have haptic support, like Star Wars Outlaws. Yeehaw! While the game is loading, I haven't actually even talked about some of the technology in the sticks. Like their other controllers, Flydigi is still using Hall effect sticks and triggers. Most of the world has moved on to TMR as they have higher sensitivity and use less power, but because of this tensioning system, they haven't quite made the switch over yet. Not the end of the world, and because this has such a large battery, that extra power draw is not a big deal. This has a 1500 milliamp hour battery, which is very large for controllers, and so you can expect about 25 to 30 hours of battery, even more if we turn off the screen. Hey, I didn't see a screen option. What the f? Am I crazy? Screen. Oh, screen.
You're crazy.
I am crazy. Whoa. Yeah, if you really want, you can put animations on it to change which connectivity mode you're in. I think this is sort of silly. It's kind of okay that you can put your own GIFs in, but I definitely don't want this on. Okay, is there just an off? I mean, I do want Sexy Mario. Let's just see what this looks like. Mario twerking. Yeah, Mario's got that booty. Mario got that booty. Looking through these options, it's not immediately obvious how to turn it off. You can pause the animation, which does turn it off. Okay. We also have more adaptive trigger options here. Because our game has native support, we're gonna turn that on, except that game didn't show up. Let's see what happens. We're having a little bit of trouble getting our adaptive triggers to work, so we're like, let's test out a DualSense, see if it works. So the DualSense works immediately, which is more annoying than I wish it was. Let's find out how to make this work with this game.
Let's try it with the wire.
Yeah.
The DualSense, in my experience, is extremely hit and miss without a wire on PC.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to play with it wired.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, do this.
Yeah, let's just straight up like illuminate as many variables as possible until we get it to work, and then we can start going back into wireless mode.
Okay. We're launching Spider-Man 2 directly from the Space Station app with the adaptive triggers on to see if that's gonna work. I really hope it does, or else I'm gonna have a bad afternoon. The adaptive triggers are active, but in a way that makes me feel like it's just the Space Station software doing a translation layer. I didn't see an option to just have it in DualSense mode. I'm getting resistance, but it's just like a default resistance. It's not like the proper, yeah, it's just a bit of resistance. Finally got the controller's adaptive triggers working. We tried a bunch of games, couldn't work. Apex works if we toggle the settings in the software and then launch the game from there. Not exactly sure why this one specific use case works, but the good news is that these adaptive triggers feel pretty good. I actually think they have more power than the PS5 one. I'm feeling more resistance when pulling the trigger than I expected, and that feels pretty cool. I think that adaptive triggers are actually really neat, and that's why I'm excited about this controller, is the prospect of getting adaptive triggers in more games, not just having it be a novelty when I play on my PS5. And the rest of the good news is that the rest of the controller feels amazing. These sticks, set at their heaviest, feel delightful. These clicky face buttons are great. The D-pad is a wonderful menu navigation device. I'm not gonna be playing retro games with that, but really the star of the show is these extraordinary triggers. Even if theoretically every single game in Space Station's list worked with adaptive triggers, that's still about 1/10 of all the games that work with the DualSense triggers. And it's a shame that we don't really have a good PC equivalent other than using a DualSense, which has its own set of drawbacks, because this is a wonderful controller, but at that price, I'm paying for a luxury product that I expect to work most of the time, not one I'm gonna have to problem solve every single time I wanna play a game. And so it's hard to recommend the Apex 5 over the Vader 5, which has a very similar feature set other than the adaptive triggers, feels nearly as premium, and comes in at about half the cost. This is just gonna have to go into the pile of PC peripherals that I'm waiting for the next generation to be better. I can't wait for the next one, just like I'm hoping that you can't wait for the next ShortCircuit. Why don't you check out the time I unboxed the Vader 5 Pro? That thing rocks, and it's a much better value proposition in my books.